Hello and welcome to vlog number 46. If you're not yet a subscriber and you have enjoyed my videos, please do consider clicking that button, and don't forget, if you are already subscribed, to ding the bell and select all so that whenever one of my videos goes live, YouTube bothers to tell you about it. So this week has been massively busy on my Battle Games in Middle-earth build. I've spent many hours applying modelling compound, and so that has taken up most of my hobby time. However, I have got some other things done. This evening you're looking at quite a frustrated beard. I've attempted to airbrush again and I really have failed. I suck so badly at this and I don't really have the time to put into it to practice, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Briefly was thinking about packing it all up and putting it away for a while, but we'll see. At the moment it's back to the hairy stick method, and frankly it's just quicker for me. So yeah, anyone's got any really good videos to watch or any tips and hints, please put them in the comments of the video, not in where I'm sharing it, but in the comments of the video. That's far more useful for me and for everyone else watching this video in the future. And I'm just going to have to kind of throw this or work through this frustration and then come back to it another time fresh and ready to give it another chance. But right now I just hate the thing and I can't be bothered with it, so there we are. Anyway, I have some clips to show you from the week which don't involve Battle Games in Middle-earth, so let's get that done and I will see you again at the end. I've been doing a bit of experimenting with these armatures, as you can see, which I'm going to come to in a second and show you how I'm doing that. First of all, today I received something I'd ordered, which is absolutely fantastic. I did not think this was going to arrive in time, and I'm very pleased indeed that it has. So what you can see here is textured tentacles from CP Models, cpmodelsminiatures.co.uk, and yeah, they are going to be absolutely perfect. I will only need one of these, I think, maybe two at the most, not very many. The rest I'll probably make use of on some bases so that I can play the Watcher in the Water game, the scenario, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so they've arrived, so I'll get them painted up and that will then sit next to the Watcher head, which will be sat in the water. However, to the main subject of this video, which is how I'm doing these armatures. So I am going to do both onto the wooden dowel, onto the balsa dowel. I think it's just going to be a bit easier to do, and it's going to end up with a better result and a nicer looking model. And as you saw, I have been twisting lots and lots of armatures. These are the lower armatures. I think I'm going to have to make some bigger ones as well, but for now I'm happy with these. They're giving me a chance to practice. And what I've decided to do on these, which is something I've not done before, but it is working quite well, even though it's quite expensive. I'm not sure if I do this on a tabletop gaming one, but I'm using green stuff to coat the actual twisted wire to give it the texture for the bark. So what we do is we get our green stuff, and I'm sure you've used green stuff before, but I'm going to show you how this works, just because I need to do some more on the trees, so I may as well be filming while I'm doing it. So we get our green stuff, we get a little slice of it, not a lot. Do this in small sections. One of the biggest issues I always have with green stuff is having too much. And then in this project I'm not going to have too much because I've got loads of these armatures to do, but often I end up with a load of green stuff that I don't need, and then I have to kind of find a use for it, which normally goes to filling in the holes in Games Workshop bases for horses, or putting a little bit of 3D into a base or something like that is where my spare green stuff normally goes. But anyway, I'm talking while I'm just kneading this in to make it into the nice green that you want. Okay, so once you've done that, keep your pot just within reach. It's just to the side there because you will need it. And what I'm then doing is I'm then tearing very tiny bits of the green stuff off and pressing it in place to fill in the gaps. Now we don't need to be too worried about the base and the bottom, because when I do the next step, once all this is done for each of these armatures, there will be either more green stuff or maybe air dry clay or something, or Luke's modelling compound that will be used for the main trunk and blending these into the main trunk. so don't worry too much about the scraggly bits at the bottom. But for the rest of the armature, what you're doing is you're wrapping the green stuff around it to hide the twisted wire. And it is actually literally that simple, and it's very quick. So it's a really good little technique. I prefer it to the wrapping with masking tape. I was recommended to find some I think it was electrical style tape to try, but I've not managed to find any of that here yet, so I've not given that a go, which is a shame, because this is, as I say, not the cheapest of options, I don't think, but the results are pretty good. And for what I'm attempting to achieve, I think this is the right technique to use. So I'm going to be doing this for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 more armatures I've got twisted that have no green stuff on. Yeah, I'm going to be doing this for a couple of days. But that should be enough for all the trees that I need, or for both the trees, so for all the armatures I need, apart from, like I just said at the beginning, I think I need to make some much bigger armatures to project the trees. I've had another look at the artwork, and I think I need a few quite tall ones to kind of go out from the middle of the trunk and reach right up to the top of the diorama. So I might do those not with green stuff though. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. I'll stop talking and stop videoing. You've seen this enough. 5 minutes of me muttering is probably enough for anyone. If you've watched all of that, congratulations and thank you. I will be back when I have the next thing to show you on this build. I've managed to finish all the green stuffing. I did this mostly in breaks during the day or while I was in meetings when I wasn't able to be typing, so I had to do something with my hands, so I just did this while I was listening and talking. And you can see that there's quite a lot of these made. Hopefully there's enough. There might even be too many, but what I now am going to do is I'm going to go and give them a prime with a brown paint. I won't bring you along for that because it's just going to be a rattle can, and I'm just going to stick them into some XPS, spray them maybe once, maybe twice, and I'll bring you back for the next step where there is to show you. But yes, it's worked very, very well with the green stuff. Even the older things, it's still flexible, so I can still reposition, as you can see, without causing any breaking, which is just perfect. It's very, very good. I'm actually very impressed. So I might end up buying myself a load more green stuff and use this as my technique for making trees, but who knows. I will now go and prime them, and I'll be back with this for the next step very shortly. What I'm going to do is a quick unboxing of these boxes that you can see here. So we have the Modern Armies in Miniatures Fishes Swimming big set. We have the Modern Army in Miniatures Crows big set. And then we have two from Mantis Miniatures. We have Animals Set 5 and Animals Set 3. So I'll quickly open these, have a look at them, just let you know what I think as initial feedback. If you're looking at doing a diorama involving fish, these are relatively large scale. They're probably too big for OO, though to be fair, fish come in all shapes and sizes, so that might not be the case. But yeah, they're 1/35 scale, so they're good for 28mm wargaming, or O scale if you're doing model railways. So I'll get these done, I'll show you what I think, and we will see what we find inside these boxes. First of all, let's look at the Modern Armies in Miniatures Crows big set. So, my favourite bit, the single-use plastic. I do understand why they use it, but it does still irritate me. All it is throw away. Any ideas for what we can do with that to recycle it? Drop them in the comments below. I'll be very, very happy to hear from you. So, when we open this, oh, that's a lot of plastic again. When we open this, what we find is a bunch of zip bags which have some 3D printed crows. So that is a crow. Let me see, let me take it out of the bag, that'd be better, wouldn't it? Apologies, I had it on fixed focus and that wasn't the right idea. So anyway, so what we've got here is a crow. We've got a very fine beak. I mean, that is absolutely stunning actually. You've got individual claws. That is a very, very beautiful bit of 3D printing. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to show you the claws. I'm trying to. Hopefully that's going to be able to see. If I just rotate it around, you can see just how detailed that is. That's beautiful. So there's one of the crows. I will now just switch back to fixed focus so that the rest of the shot is okay. Okay, there we are. So let's see what we've got. We've got another one that's very similar. Yeah, that's very similar. And then we come to they've still got the supports on, so there's going to be some tidying up to be done, as you can see. But that's I mean, the quality is absolutely superb, to be fair. There's a flying crow, really good. I'm very impressed with that. So there we are, they are absolutely beautiful. There's going to be some tidying up to be done, which I will probably do when I use them. So you'll probably see that tidying up and the painting, what have you, in specific videos where I'm actually using these models. I'm not going to do build videos for crows and fishes swimming, but you will see them in other videos. So there we are, that's the Modern Armies in Miniature Crows big set, 6 pieces, MAME 35525. Right, let's pick the next one to have a look at. Let's stick with MAME and do the Fishes Swimming big set. So let's get this opened. There we are, more single-use plastic. And I'm expecting to see the same thing. Oh, I get a little bit more packing material in this one. There we are, let's get that out of the way and let's have a look, see what we've got. So in this one we have one big zip bag, which is slightly less wasteful. That's good. Not the zip bags are wasteful because I generally use them anyway. And we'll get one out, and once again we are seeing some serious quality here. That is you can see the scales on that. What I'll do is I'll just switch over to autofocus and bring that closer to the camera so you can see it. There we are. Managed to get that in focus. I'll probably have cut a lot of me moving my hands around in the wrong direction because I'm looking at this on a monitor and it's backwards. So when I move to the right, it moves to the left. And if I move back, yes, anyway, that's blowing my mind. Right, enough nattering. But what you can see there is just what a beautiful print that is and what a lovely looking fish that is. And that is going to look absolutely superb in your diorama. So yeah, so that's also just as good quality and really, really nice. So I will switch back to fixed focus and look at the rest. Okay, so they are all of the similar quality. That's just split off. You can see that has sheared off a little bit there, which is why that was free for me to look at. But the rest of them are all just as good quality. They've all sat on their little support, so there's going to be quite a bit of cleaning up to be done. I have to be very, very cautious and careful, but still very, very nice. You can see that they've got scales even in the prints. I'm pretty impressed with that. So that is the Fishes Swimming big set from MAME 35694. Right, I'll pack that up and we'll pick the next one to look at. Let's have a look at the MAME Storks, Sturka, or if you're in Bulgaria where I am, Sturkel. MAME 35716. So I am again expecting this to be just as good quality. 3D printed and highly detailed. So let's see what we've got inside the box. More extra packing material. And that's not as good of value. So some of the supports are broken off in the box, in the packing. Indeed. Okay, I think that's actually broken, but I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to open that because I think they might actually be broken, and I may actually have to get in touch with the seller. It looks like the legs have broken off the supports, which isn't very cool. They are super fine, but it looks to me like this one here is damaged. This one here looks okay. It looks like I've got a 50% hit rate, so I might have to get in touch with the supplier and let them know about that. However, notwithstanding that, the quality is pretty special as well. The beaks are very good, and they're very, very fine. But yes, definitely that's broken in the box. So I'm going to put that back in very carefully, not fiddle with it anymore, and I'll get in touch with the supplier that I got it from, which I'll link below, by the way. I was very impressed with them. It's a German company, and they shipped same day. Prices were pretty good, and yeah, I was very impressed with their service and with their delivery. So that's the storks. So you're getting the 2 storks in that pot. But sadly, one of mine is broken. Now we come to the Mantis miniatures, and they don't seem to feel the need to shrink wrap. That's a positive in their favour. This is Mantis Animals Set 33 even. 33. And in here you can see these are not 3D printed, they're cast. Bit of flash around those fish, but that's not so bad. You've got a snail and a frog, that's cool, and a couple of ducks. They're pretty cool. They're very nicely detailed. Again, you can see that there are scales on the fish, and the frog is particularly cool. That's pretty awesome. He will be being used very soon. I've got an idea for him. And some water birds as well, so that's good. So that's the Mantis Animals set 33. That's a pretty good set. They're probably not so good for doing Middle-earth style dioramas. They don't really talk very much about water snails and ducks, but who knows, maybe they have them. So I'll put that away and we'll pick the next thing. Last but not least, for this unboxing, we have Mantis Miniatures Animals set 5, which is only fish. So, again, a Ziploc bag. Again, you can see them on the sprues. We've got a nice pike there, swimming going around a corner as they do. That's a good set. I may even order another one of these, because that's almost perfect for what I'm looking for. I almost wish I'd ordered 2. So yeah, so they're really nice. That's probably the best of the lot. I mean, I'm impressed with the main, but they're 3D printed, so there's a lot of cleaning up to be done. But these Mantis ones, there's not quite so much cleaning up to be done, and there's a good variety and a good selection of fish in that box. So there we are. That there is all of those random animals unboxed. So the Renedra stone thatched outbuilding. As you can see, it comes in a little kind of like zip bag with some cardboard over the top, which I'm struggling to remove. So let's have a look and see what you get in the sprues. So nice artwork, and on the back of that you have the instructions, which are quite simple. So yeah, you can see that there are 2 sprues, and on one of them you have the roof, and another one you have the walls. So that's pretty clear. So what I'm going to do is have a quick look at the instructions there, just to see what to do. It looks quite obvious. I don't think it's going to take too much effort. So what I'm going to do is grab my clippers, and I'm going to take the walls out of the sprue. So I'll be doing this very carefully, and then I will clean them up. So I will skip ahead a bit and speak to you again when there's something more to say. Now I'm going to just tidy up the little bits of where I've cut them off the sprue, which have been left behind by the side cutters. I'm using my, it's actually a Citadel knife here with a sharp blade on it, just very, very carefully coming along and trimming off the bits of sprue that have been left behind. So I'll go along and I'll do this on everything, and then I'll be back when there's something else to add. Tidied everything up now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of my Tamiya extra thin to glue these together. It is a plastic kit, so that should be good. So what I'll be doing is I'll be attempting, and I don't do this very well actually, I'll be attempting to use this in the way that you're supposed to, which is press the 2 parts together and allow capillary action to pull the glue into the joint as you hold it together tightly. However, as you can see, I'm struggling quite a lot. So I will put some music on and you can watch as I faff and fiddle. I do get it done and it does work in the end, but yeah, it was not as simple as it possibly should have been. Now we come to the roof. You can see that I have managed to get that to dry. It didn't actually take very long to go off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer up the sections of the roof so that they're in the correct angle, and then I will use again some more of the Sigmar extra thin and attempt to glue it together by running it down and letting the capillary action work. Now this didn't work, as you'll see shortly. So yeah, let's skip to the next section. After a little bit of time, I worked out that that really wasn't going to work. So I've come here with some super glue gel, and I'm running a bead along the apex and then a thin bead at each edge where the ridge piece will go, and this ended up holding it quite securely, so maybe that might be a good tip for you to take away from this build. Next up, we're down in the spraying area, and I've actually picked up the wrong paint here. I've used this before and it's going to cause me a lot of trouble, and I'm already a little bit frustrated at myself. But first of all, you can see what happens when you don't shake the can well enough. It comes out and it's way too thick. So that was the first mistake I made, and the second mistake I made was actually buying this can in the first place. This is a very, very shiny paint, and it's going to be a real pain in the backside for me to continue. But I'm going to carry on. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly on this channel. This is really, really bad and really, really ugly. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just take off the worst of that overspray, and then I don't know why I did it, but I sprayed more on it, which also was probably a bad idea. Anyway, you can see that it's actually coming out evenly now, but anyway. Next up, with that done, so I've spray painted that. I was doing that in beige. I'm going to prime the stonework with my grey primer, which I know is not shiny and actually does work well. So we'll just get in there and spray paint that. I'm not trying to do it too much because I don't mind there being a little bit of shading, and that's going to be a good starter. So that's the first stage of the painting done. And so we come to the next step for this finally. I've been doing some practicing and some playing around. As you can see, I've got a test piece here, the first tree, and what I'm going to be doing is, just so that I don't make any mistakes, I'm going to be practicing on that one and then following up by showing you what I've done. So I am going to be using all the same materials. I'm not going to be using the tube. I've decided to go for the balsa for both, so I've cut myself another length of balsa wood, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on a base, so just a small base just down here, cover this wood not all the way up, maybe about a third of the way up with air dry clay, and then just leave it to dry. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when I'm working on this, it's a little bit easier for me to put down and it won't fall over as much, and other good things like that. So first of all, we get some PVA, some white glue, and we paint that around the base. And this is because, as you'll have heard me say on this channel a fair few times, clay is not adhesive. It does not stick on its own. So you need to provide some glue, else it will just come straight off. And then what we do is we take our air dry clay, this is DAS, and we take a bit and we just smudge it around the base, set it into a little bit of a cone coming out the bottom, which is a lovely messy job. Have a pot of water near, here's my paint water, so that you can guide it. And if you need to put some more PVA on, then don't be shy, get some more PVA on there. Make sure to keep the PVA, to get enough PVA that it's actually going to adhere, and then smudge it around and bring it out a little bit so that it's just going to be slightly flared at the bottom, and then leave that to dry. And that's this stage. So it's a very quick process this, but once this is done, then we can move on to the meat of the project, which is putting the branches in, which is going quite well on my test piece, and then we will go to actually sculpting the trunk and putting the rest of the body of the trunk on. So there we are. That there will give it just a little bit more stability for when it's got the branches on top, and will also feed into the root system even when we get to that at some point in the future. When I say at some point in the future, it's got to be this week, because I need to finish this week. So there we are. So I'll let that dry and I'll bring you back for the next step. That stands up nicely now. Oh, you can't see it. Let me put it down over here. See, that stands up nicely. Good. The next step for this is to start to arrange the actual the foliage. So as you can see, here I have the tree branches that I made using the twisted wire and the green stuff. And so what I'm going to do basically is as simple as this. I'm going to dip the end, the wire, into some PVA and then push it in. Like that. And there we are. There we have. And it's not very stable, as you can see. Even with the base that I've put on it, it's not very stable. You're going to have to keep hold of it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically go through all of the, well, not all of the rest of them, because I think I've got too many, and I might put some more onto the other one that I'm practicing on. I know, it's cheating really, isn't it, practicing? But yeah, so I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to stick these branches to the top, just like you're seeing here. So there we are. You see, this one's designed to go in the middle because it's got nothing. It's got no sticky out bits until it gets to the top. So I'm just going to do it like that. So I'll do the rest of that off camera because it's basically the same thing repeated, and I'll bring you back when I get to the next step. You are listening to a very frustrated and annoyed beard because I've just tried to use the airbrush, and it turns out that I really can't at this stage get it to work, and I'm under too many time constraints to faff around for as long as I did the last time I tried to use it. So I'm just going to hairy stick, and guess what, it's just working. So for now, toys are firmly out the pram, and I am giving up on the airbrush. I will have to put more time into it when I have the time to dedicate to practice. As the person said who commented on my last video, "Can't believe you're still that rubbish, surely you should be better." Well, this is obviously the case. Surely I should be better, and I also can't believe I'm that rubbish. But hey, I just don't have time to spend a long time every evening practicing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into mothballs, clean it correctly, make sure it's entirely perfect, put it back in its box so that it doesn't get damaged with dust, and come back to it at some point when I can dedicate the time. So anyway, as I was nattering, you can see here that what I've done is I have primed the tentacle, which is going to go on the Druid's door, which is brilliant. So yeah, anyway, never mind, didn't want to be an airbrusher anyway. Now for the bit that we've all been waiting for. Not just you, I've been waiting for it as well. So I have my Bright Aqua Aquarius glow-in-the-dark paint. And I also have a pot of cocktail sticks, because that is how I am going to apply it. I don't know how much of this I'm going to get on camera because it's probably going to be a little bit fiddly and I may get in the way quite a lot. However, I thought I'd at least bring you along for a little bit of it, and then maybe I will be able to show you what it looks like when it's done. So basically, I don't want to be painting it like I did it that first time in that practice one, which, as awesome as it looked, it was way too much. It was all over it. So what I've decided to do is come in like this with a toothpick and paint or apply it quite thickly, but just in the little lines that I've carved in. So I'm going to get this done. It's not going to be a very quick process, as you can see. It's quite a thick paint, which doesn't really want to transfer very easily. However, slowly but surely is the way here. I don't want to feel like I'm in any rush. So I'll leave the camera running maybe put some music on and you can watch as I get this done. Now I might even do this over more than one evening because it's quite late now, and while I'm actually not feeling all that tired, I'll regret staying up till the early hours if I do. So I may stop this. I may just do a little bit now and a little bit more tomorrow, a little bit the next day, because this is really important to get this right. This is the nuts of the idea. Alright, put some music on, stop rambling, let's get this done. Well then, I think that's good enough for now. I've actually managed to do it all, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to let that to dry and then I'll check it out tomorrow to see how well it looks with the glow. Well, maybe actually I can quickly turn the lights off and see what happens. So maybe I'll just do that. So very, very minimally you can see some glow there. So that might need to have a second application, but it's starting, it's getting there. So I wrap that up a slightly more cheerful beard as the glow-in-the-dark paint is looking good. I think a couple of applications in that way and it will actually really, really, really work well. So there we are. This is not actually the end of the video as well. Unusually, after this outro, I'm going to drop another clip in. This clip is me applying 6 kilograms of modelling compound to the Battle Games of Middle-earth terrain board that I'm building, and it shows you just what I've really done this week as well. So it's only 3.5 minutes. It is 3 hours of effort compressed down to 3.5 minutes. So I hope that you enjoy that. I'll thank you very much for watching and say if you do have any comments, pop them in the video, please, rather than anywhere I've shared it, just so that everyone gets the benefit of anything you say. If you just pop it in the groups on Facebook or Insta or whatever where I share it, then it's only a small subset of people that get to see what you've said. So there we are. It'd be really cool if you could do that in the video. And as always, please stay safe, stay well, and stay healthy.